Hey everybody, welcome back to another weekly wellness update. I'm going to have my footage of my conversation with Jonathan here in just a minute. Like I said last week, I am so glad that I have these conversations on video because I go back and I edit and I'm able to, listen to it a little more slowly, and I always get more out of it and kind of, just rediscover all of the great nuggets of wisdom that we talk about. And so far through this experience, I am getting so many good insights into just myself and how I deal with things and working through some internal, thought patterns and issues that I have that I never would have seen if I hadn't been working with someone else. Like, I've done a lot of work on my own, on my health and on my mindset, and I've definitely made a lot of progress. But there are some blind spots you can have when you're just all in your own head, and you don't have someone else that you're actually talking to and staying accountable to. And so some things are really coming up for me. Like in this video, we'll chat a little bit about dairy and my thought processes around dairy and some realizations that I'm having. I'm also super excited about going on our road trip vacation here in a little bit with the framework that Jonathan has shared with me, and kind of, with his accountability and then just with all of his tips. I'm really excited about the prospect of this vacation, both having fun and relaxation and balance, and not obsessing over food, but also enjoying food. Like, I have a lot of optimism about this vacation that's coming up. So we chat about that a little bit more in this video too. I think that's all I have to say here at the beginning. So let's just go ahead and jump into our conversation.
What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you this week?
I'm doing good. Are you feeling human again after your crazy race?
Barely. Today's like the first day I woke up. I was still really tired, but I was like, okay, my brain's functioning. I know 2 + 2 = 4, so we're good there.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. It was not like that the past 2 days. Definitely 2 + 2 = fish.
Yeah.
How are you feeling after your crazy race?
Yeah, I had a race too,
Crushed it.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, I was sore for a couple of days, but I'm pretty much back to normal now. Had a workout yesterday and it was good. So
good. So how did it go? Like, what was it? I kind of wanted to ask you about that. What did it feel like?
Yeah, so it was way better than I expected. I kind of thought, I'm going to get 2 miles in and collapse, but I didn't. So I walked the uphills because there were some trails. And so I pretty much walked the uphills, ran the downhills, and then I ran as much as I could besides that. So by the end, I was run, walk just to get to the end. But I ran to the finish, jogged. So yeah, I was happy with that. It's the longest I've ever run, ever. And I didn't die. I didn't have honey that I could take with me. I didn't get the honey sticks like you mentioned in time. And so I had Annie's bunny gummies, like the organic little and I was like, shoved that in my pocket. And then I was on like mile 4 and I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to eat that. And so I did at that point, and I, think it helped and lived.
Hey, a 10K is no joke. Like 10, I mean, yeah, it's far. Like, it's funny how having conversations with people because they know like how far I run, but I'm like, there's like, it's like another whole nother level of something's not right up here. Like 6 miles. Thank you for agreeing with my psycho.
No, no question there.
Yeah, it's 6 miles is amazing. A 10K is no joke. So you should be proud of yourself, especially with everything you've been experiencing. Like the ability to like do that and push through, and like think about like when we first started, you're like, I there's no way I can even run this, and look at you now, you did it.
Yep, I was very happy. I came in 77th out of 111, so I wasn't even last.
Okay, I like it. That's good. There you go. In the top 100. Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. Check that one off the list.
That's funny.
In my life.
No, that's funny. Okay, so one thing I noticed, I'm pulling up your habit tracker right now. One thing I noticed that I really liked was even with adding dairy back in, you hit a new low on Saturday.
I did. Yeah, right before the race.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yep, down in the
You
woods.
are crushing this. You're crushing this right now, Nili. You're crushing it.
Thank you. Well, okay, so I've been thinking about the dairy and so I increased my dairy this last week.
Mhm.
No issues. Weight didn't go up. No problem.
Good.
And I was like, I think dairy has been another one of my outs in my mind. Like we talked about, like, oh, I'll just go carnivore. If I just went carnivore, XYZ, I think dairy has been like that in my head. Like instead of dealing with, the fact that I'm overeating, we're eating things that I know are not good for me. I'm like, oh, if I just went dairy free, it would fix my problems.
Yep.
And so with doing this little experiment, I'm like, I don't think I have that as an out anymore. I mean, obviously, I think I could overconsume dairy, which is easy to do. But dairy in moderation, I don't think is a huge issue for me.
No, I resonate with that. I'm the same way. Whenever like I had to like argue with it because my race ended and then 3 weeks to the cruise, so I'm gonna like go on carnivore and like lean up and all this stuff before I'm on a boat with thousands of people for 9 days. And one of the things I was like, I'm just gonna cut dairy out. But I know dairy doesn't do anything to me. Like I have no negative reactions to dairy at all. I just can overconsume it. It's really easy for me to overconsume. And so I had the same conversation. I was like, oh, I should cut dairy out. I'm like, oh no, John, you know what kind of reaction that is. Like only take out the things that'll help you like control your calories, but you don't have to like go crazy. And a lot of people do that. I always tell clients this, and anybody that was willing to listen, never bite off more than you can chew when your jaw is sore. And what I mean by that is when you're excited and you're hungry, it's really easy to eat a bunch of stuff really fast. But after a while, as you continue to chew, it starts to get hard. All of a sudden, some of those foods that looked fun at the beginning, they don't look fun anymore. And you have to make some dramatic shifts, midway into, the diet or the meal. So if we flip that to like weight loss and health goals, oftentimes when we're motivated and excited, we go from standard American diet to like January carnivore month. We go from like funnel cakes to Lion's diet. And it's fun at first. You're excited, you're motivated, but when life starts to happen, when things get rough, all of a sudden this isn't as fun as it used to be. And then it becomes unsustainable because we didn't gradually bring ourselves to it. So I think it's important with all of us when we're going through a program. That's why like the changes I do also are very small. Like I tweak as we go. It's not just because I want there to, there's many reasons. Like you want one control so you can see how the variables change, but also I want you to be able to slowly transition into what we're doing. So by the time we get to the end goal, it's maintainable because you've been doing it and you've gradually, we didn't go, like we went from 0 to 100. At first you'd be like, all right, we're going to do this. We got this. Let's go. Yeah. 3 weeks in, you would be like, I don't know if I can handle this. This is too much.
Yep.
Right. And a lot of people do that. So
yeah. And I've had those thoughts like I'm doing well with tracking my food and getting my macros, but I'm like, what is it going to be like when I'm not getting checked up on? And so I feel like what we're doing is so maintainable that I'm not super worried about it. I was back when I was so hungry and I was like on 2,000 calories and like feeling like I was going to eat my arm off. But now I'm doing a lot better.
Yeah, that's good. As far as working out and activity, do you have any particular goal, especially now that your heart's relaxing and you can run a 10K? Are there any goals that you're looking into doing? I want to ask you about that.
Yeah, so I was thinking about trying to add in at least one run a week again. So I was thinking on the weekends, try to get one in. I was going to ask you what you thought about that.
Yeah, I'm cool. Let's see how that goes. I would try to keep it to a 5K or less.
Okay. Yeah, that should be
5K or less. It should be easy, right? 5K or more, try to keep your heart rate under 140. So that means you have to walk a little bit. That's fine. Okay. I want to keep it low aerobic, real low.
Yes.
Let's do that for a couple weeks and let's see how you feel. And if you feel good, then we can try 2, 3. And then if you start feeling really pippy, we could sign up for a half. This could go. We don't know. The end is only when you don't want to go that far anymore.
Right. Yes. Yeah. My friend is running a marathon in November and I've been kicking around. They're doing a 7 miler at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe
7 miler. Okay.
so. I mean, it's not a crazy jump from a 10K. It's just a little
No.
longer, but
If you
and I
can run 6.2, you can run 7.
what'd you say?
So if you can run 6.2, you can run 7.
Right. So, and it's November, so it's a long ways away.
Oh yeah, we got time. Got time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure by then we can get you running a half marathon.
Okay.
If you can run 6.2, you can run 13. You can.
Okay. Yeah.
You can do it.
Okay. All right.
Especially in November, it's not even hot. You totally have the advantage of the cold. If you train in the summer and the early fall, like in the heat, and then it gets cold, I'm telling you, there's nothing better than training in the heat, and then the first cold front, you literally feel like an invincible tank on your runs.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll think about it. Well, okay. So I'm getting ready for vacation. I'm gonna do the vacation, and then after that, I'm gonna see where I'm at, and then we'll make some
Love
decisions.
Love that. Okay, so vacation, that is in 2 weeks.
A little less than 2 weeks.
All right, so
on the 13th.
Huh?
You should fly to Utah on the 13th.
I should.
That'd
And
be
then I didn't invite me. It's okay.
Oh.
I said that so she could see it. I wanted her to hear that. No, but in all seriousness, so we talked about the travel tips.
Yeah, those are so good. I watched the video again while I was editing, and I was like, these are so good.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so in terms of that though, let's actually talk about the actual road tripping. What are some ideas about food that you had? I have ideas I was going to share with you, but
okay. Yeah, we're trying to, not spend $1 million on eating out. So that's going to solve some problems there. And then without, trying to not snack, that's been going to be a big one, like just trying not to snack. And we don't have a lot of room in the car, so we're not packing a ton of food. We're going to try to just stop at grocery stores on the travel days. We're going to have Airbnbs. So we'll have, somewhere to cook in the evening and in the morning. So we have a lot of options, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think not eating out is going to be a big, we will eat out some, but not every meal.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple things, because I'm just thinking about your diet plan too with the 100, because like, especially from like whole, that's where I think that's where like, it's almost easier for a lot of people to go carnivore or like super strict keto on a road trip, because when you're on the road, the carb option, like the meat options are easy, right? You just go to a fast food joint, just get no bun and some beef or whatever. The carbs become tricky because you don't have as many whole food carb options, but you still have to eat 100 grams. You're like, where do I even get these from? Because fruit, yeah, right. So things like fruit, I think about. So there's a chip called the wild chip. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, with tapioca starch.
Yeah, that's a great option. You could, like, if y'all have to stop and like, for lunch or whatever, and get like a burger patty, and you just have a bag of those. It's like 3 servings. It's like 30-40 grams of carbs from the tapioca, and it's chicken breast, and it's relatively clean. Just eat a bag of those, right? Things like that. I think about fresh fruit. Yeah, like bananas and apples and all those things are great too. Keep it super simple.
Yeah.
It's good that you're stopping by grocery stores too. That way nothing goes bad while it's in the car. You can just kind of like buy as you go. Is there anything that you like, any questions you had about that, like that you wanted to pick my brain about?
So should I try to trek? No. Okay.
No, I think if you stick to if you like kind of what we talked about last call, if you stick to like 3 meals a day, and the first 2 are the ones with carbs, or the first, however you want to do that, you should be really close relatively to your macros. You should be fine. And you're on vacation. You're going to be more active. You're going to be much more relaxed. You're going to be in a healthier place. Sleep's probably going to be much better.
Road tripping with 4 kids, so I don't know about. No, it'll be. I'm so excited for it. It's going to be awesome.
But yeah, you should be fine. I don't see any reason, especially like, again, if you're just keeping it whole foods. I find a lot of people, when they're eating like whole foods, especially when they're not, like, part of what stimulates hunger is our access to food. Like, I know one reason why I struggle, when I'm like dieting or whatever, one reason I struggle so much with dieting is because my kitchen is 10 feet from me.
Yep. Stay-at-home mom. That is my life. And then I'm also cooking for everyone all day long. So it's in my face. One
of the things I learned really quick is not to finish your kids' plates.
Yeah.
because you know, especially if you make something good, you want to like eat it because you're not full. You're like, realize like, no, that's like an extra, like if you do that like 5 times, you're way over your calories.
Yeah. I make my kids wrap up their food and they don't eat anything else until they finish their stuff from the previous meal. That helps.
Smart. I got to work on that with my 3-year-old.
It's hard when they're 3. Yeah.
So many times I've made her food and she's like, well, I want this, and I'll make it. And she goes, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You suck.
I just wanted to see you work.
Yeah. Like, thanks for making me slave over your food you're not going to eat. That's horrible.
3-year-olds are so fun.
Yeah. But when you're out and you're on a road trip and you're eating whole foods, I find it generally, it's not going over macros that people struggle with when they do that. It's actually not eating enough.
Okay.
Like when the cruise, right? So like I go on cruises. We're about to go on one, and I almost always lose like 5 pounds every time I go on a cruise. Like literally, like I weigh myself at the end of it to see where I'm at, and I've always lost like 5 pounds because I'm moving so much, and then food's not always there. Yeah. And I'm fasting between meals. So when I eat, I can't eat like a gigantic amount, and I never eat really processed things. It's always like the whole fresh stuff. So like it's a lot of not very calorie dense. Yeah. And I track it, and like, I barely hit 2,000 calories some days at buffets.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm super active and moving. And so like, I think the only time that people gain weight on vacation is when they get stressed and they start going to hyper palatable convenience foods.
Yeah. Yeah, or I'm on vacation, so I should eat the whatever.
Or they indulge in too much alcohol, and that skews their food options.
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh, it was the wine. I'm like, no, it's what I'm not saying you should drink wine every night, but it wasn't the 2 glasses of wine. It was the bag of cheese balls you ate after you had the 2 glasses of wine that made you think that was okay.
Yeah. So I think for me, the thing that I'm really going to try to focus on is the not snacking. Because especially with long road trips, it's so easy to just sit there and eat. Whatever. So that I'm going to keep that like in the forefront of my mind. Stick to meals. Don't snack.
I do think it's important though that some of the like that's why I want you to do like the wild chips and like foods like that. I want you to have fun foods that are more packaged. Yeah. Because those are still part of that. I think it's important for us as humans to have those human experiences. Like there are people that pride themselves on being carnivore. Like I know, like sometimes when I go on road trips, like I like that I don't eat the whole time. Yeah. But there are other times like I want to be part. There's a human experience to like eating some chips with your kids and like having a good time. And so it's just like, okay, well, instead of snacking on a bag of chips all day, I'll have a bag of chips with my lunch. And when I have my lunch, we'll be on the road, we'll drive in, and we stop and grab something. I get to have my meat or whatever we got, and then I can have that moment with my family. It's just. So it's like it's a balance of like being controlled about it, but also like not depriving yourself of that experience.
Yeah, I like that. And that has been a huge focus for me over the last few years, because I've definitely come from a place where it's like I can't eat anything because this, is bad and this is bad. And and so I felt like I never could enter in with like everyone would be eating something and I'm the only one, not. And I was like, I don't want my kids to like remember every gathering and like, oh, mom didn't eat that. We ate all the things that mom couldn't eat. And I was like, I don't want that. So I've really worked on that, trying, and there's always a balance, because sometimes when you're struggling, you have a bite of something and it turns into having all of something. And so I've really worked on that, and I 100% agree. And for me, and this is not the same for everybody, but for me, I value having those times and those experiences with my family and partaking together in things more than having a perfect diet all the time. Yeah. And I came to the realization that I was like, I'm prioritizing one part of health and neglecting another part of health. It's not just that I'm being healthy by eating this perfect diet. It's that I'm actually being less healthy in a certain way, socially, in community. And so I really have moved away from that. But then it's not easy, because you have to learn how. Sometimes it's easier just to be like, close the door and I don't even have to taste it, don't even have to think about it. When you do have to taste it, you have to work through the difficulty of doing it in a healthy way, which is hard, but it is really rewarding. So
Yeah, it's that concept of tensegrity, right? Like knowing when to prioritize different, like not like not balance. It's not about balancing like social gatherings and food per se. It's more of knowing where you're at in the moment and then applying pressure to the right thing. So like if that pressure needs to be applied to sticking to your food plan perfectly because you're just not, you'll go overboard, then focus on that, right?
Yeah.
And you realize that other part's going to suffer. But for order for you to have this facade of balance, that's where the pressure needs to be right now.
Yeah.
Versus, okay, I'm healthy, nothing's wrong with me, I'm really active, I've fixed everything. This isn't the cleanest ingredient food, but like my kids are here and I don't want them to have an eating disorder. And it's like I can have this moment with them. It's kind of like Sean Baker talks about how every now and then he'll have a slice of pie or something like that, right? Like in that moment, he's prioritizing that, right? That's getting the pressure. And this isn't as much pressure, but it kind of creates this like idea of balance. I know I'm bringing up the cruise a lot, but it's like 3 weeks away. So it's on my mind. Something I do like every night when I'm there is I eat their sugar-free ice cream. Is that sugar-free ice cream good for you? Probably not. It's probably got the worst sweeteners in it. It's probably just chemical mess. But it's the thing that I get to eat. And they have a sugar-free chocolate gelato thing that it's at every cruise. And I literally eat perfectly until I have that thing. And I eat that thing and I don't care what anybody thinks. Me and my wife split it. We laugh about it. Every time it comes, we like have this moment because it's like the one thing we eat together we have this moment. And like, I would not give up that moment for anyone or anything.
Yeah.
Right? So,
but if you were having some crazy autoimmune flare, your priorities would be different, and that's okay.
Yeah, the first cruise I went on, I didn't touch any of that. My first cruise I went on, I literally had like an endless amount of New York strips, eggs, and sausage links, and that's all I ate the whole time. But yeah, so it just depends on. Realize too that like life changes, you change, right? Like the diet that works well for you now might not work well for you 10 years from now. Yeah. For some people, it might. Some people can do the same thing for 30 years straight. Yep. It's not like that for everybody, right? Like environment, if you move, right? Let's just talk about moving states. We can talk about this for a while. I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole here. You can move to a more northern climate, and all of a sudden you have less vitamin D. You have less stimulation from the sun. It's colder. You have less days of heat, which is going to affect you metabolically. It's going to affect your activity levels. It's going to affect your NEAT, which is your non-energy activity thermogenesis. It's going to affect your thyroid levels. Just moving to like 5 states north of where you are can have radical impacts on your nutrition, your body's well-being, and like you might have to switch things. You might find yourself needing more of this or more of that, right? And likewise, you can move down south and things shift. And that's just moving states. And imagine like seasons in general, or like seasons of life, or environmental stressors. Like there's so many variables that come into what dictates how our diets necessarily can look from decade to decade, year to year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also I worked on my gut, a year or so ago. And my diet, like if I was eating the diet I'm eating now a year and a half ago, I would have felt horrible, like bloated, pain. It would have been awful. But my body is different now than it was then. And now I feel great. I'm eating, lentils and vegetables, salads. And I'm like, so even, our bodies can change. Like people have this idea, I ate this thing and I had a bad reaction, therefore this thing is bad for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there are things that you could do about your body to affect it. And maybe, there are some, like my son is allergic to eggs, which is horrible. And maybe there's a day that he'll grow out of it. But as it stands now, he's never touching eggs. Like it's horrible.
Yeah.
But there are less severe, issues, gut issues, especially where you can change the way your body responds to it. And it can make your diet look vastly different. And so, there are people like, these foods hurt me, therefore they are bad. And it's like, well, let's take into consideration the state of the body that's eating them as well.
Yeah. I literally just talked about that. Literally, I just made a post about that today.
Nice.
Well, so I had a client, and so one client reminds me of the story you just said, and I don't want to drag on too long, but when they came to me, they had SIBO and leaky gut and some things going on, and they went carnivore to fix that, and carnivore did, and they were carnivore for three years, strict, no vegetation, not even, huh?
It takes a lot, those kind of things. I think it can,
Yeah,
but it takes a long. So 3 years.
So she went 3 years on carnivore, no vegetation, no spices, no nothing, and then she lost her cycle about a year and a half ago. So probably like two years ish into carnivore, she lost her cycle, and tried high fat, tried all the carnivore things. And the point is that when I first started working with her, we tried white rice and blueberries and some other things. And dude, blueberries, the only thing she could tolerate was white rice. Everything else destroyed her gut. Like, I mean, within minutes, she would eat like blueberries and then boom, just a balloon. Like within, like it happened so fast, I almost didn't believe it. It was incredible. I mean, horrible, but incredible.
Yeah.
And so we stuck to white rice, and within the first 30 days of just 1 cup of white rice with her carnivore, we didn't change anything about her diet except for we added that. She had her first cycle in a year and a half within 30 days, right?
Crazy.
Now let's fast forward almost a year later. A year later, her diet, she has a regular cycle. Her diet consists of a bunch of meat. She doesn't do shredded beef. She does better with ground meat. That's a fun thing. Blueberries, white rice, mung beans, kimchi, bean sprouts. She can have all that stuff now. And but we had to fix her gut, and it took forever for her body to like adjust to these foods that are helping her feel better. They helped regulate her cycle. They helped give her energy. They helped her grow muscle she couldn't grow, right? But so she needed the foods, but her body wasn't in a position it wasn't adapted enough to deal with some of the anti-nutrients that come with those foods simply because they don't have claws, right? And so there's a whole thing to be said about, yes, oxalates can be damaging, but oxalates are also just part of a environment in which we are designed to adapt to. Just like we're designed to adapt to external stressors, we're also designed to adapt to internal stressors. And in our bodies, oftentimes we think of, well, this food has a possible good thing, but it has this bad thing, therefore we shouldn't eat it. When rather the conversation, I think, needs to be, your body's so amazing that it can adapt to blunt the negative to get the positive anyways. That's insane.
Yeah,
your body can do
as long
that.
as your body's healthy enough to do that.
Some people aren't. That's right. Yeah, and again, that's why individual like diets matter, right? Because there's so much nuance there about like, because I have clients that literally can't get off a carnivore diet. We've tried everything, and so we've had to work on like being okay with different things and the options there, and it happens, right? So it's a fun conversation. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's similar to, someone who's been vegan for years. They can't just go out and start eating pounds and pounds of steak. Their bodies, they need the digestive juices and all of that. Like it takes, and you don't just say, oh, well, that means steak is bad because, they were bloated after they ate it. Your body you have to take into account your body and what state it's in. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Well, sweet. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, keep me updated, and then we will chat next week.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Bye.